staff are leaving Credit Suisse's Middle East division amid allegations of a toxic culture. Current and former employees say the executive who built the regional wealth powerhouse also fostered a brutal workplace. Well, joining us now is our Swiss finance reporter, Marion Halftemeyer, who's been working with us on The Big Take. Marion, what made this environment a particularly brutal place to work?
Yes, exactly, Francine. So we've all had difficult bosses to work with, but this environment in particular, there was a lot of pressure. Employees were given very high targets that they couldn't necessarily meet. They were given little support. And should they fail the targets, they were in an environment where they were berated or shouted at in front of all their colleagues, feeling very embarrassed. So it was an extremely difficult environment to work with, and there was a lot of pressure to perform.
So, Marion, what are the consequences and the risks in operating in such a manner?
Exactly. So what many of the people we spoke to for this story, my colleagues and I, were telling us is that this sort of environment pushed them to really want to meet those targets that felt impossible to meet. And so they were pushing sometimes the risk limits that they were working with their clients, putting at risk the bank for losses as well as their clients for losses. They were also using a lot of leverage. And so you get into a situation where employees feel stuck. They want to, not be embarrassed at the next sales meeting when they failed to meet their targets. They don't want to be the next person who's the victim of these shoutings and beratings. And so they're pushing to sell and sell. The other point about this is that the bank risks alienating clients who make losses. And then now we're seeing many employees leave who just can't tolerate it anymore.
So, Marion, what is the feedback you've actually been receiving so far?
Yes, so the story was published this morning, and we've been receiving a lot of feedback from both people we've spoken to, former employees, and people who I don't know who've been reaching out to me, saying, they're very thankful that we've written this story and that they can basically say that they've had those experiences as well. So we're getting a lot of positive feedback, so to speak, in terms of the impact that the story is having, and people are happy that this is finally out there and being talked about.